Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Ignite. My name's Tom. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Microsoft, and I'm joined today on stage by Katie Kivett and Carmen Smales from the Office Experience Organization, or OXO internally. And we're going to talk to you about some of the changes that we're making to the Office.com and the shared properties that are available on the web browser. Now, I recognize a lot of people in the room, and that's really great to see that there's a lot of investment in what's happening on the web for our audiences. We find today that more and more people are expecting to work on the web and to be able to get more done in their browser in particular. We have over 80 million people that are using the web apps in Office 365 every single day as part of their workflow. Now, that can be to start their workday, or it can be to quickly edit an attachment that was maybe sent to them and shared with them, or it can be to go in and create a brand new document altogether. What we want to do, though, is while we add lots and lots of new tools and new experiences to the Office platform all up, is we also want to focus on how we tie all of these experiences together, how we make it easier for people to switch across applications, find the documents they're looking for, and really provide end users with a seamless experience from start to go. Today, Katie and Carmen are going to talk you through 3 big improvements we've made to the Office.com properties to really help respond to a lot of the feedback we've had from both admins and MVPs in the room today, but also look at how we're making this better for users and prioritizing the apps and the services that a user wants to use most and get them right into their content quicker. So what we're going to do is Katie and Carmen are going to take you through a couple of these new experiences. They're going to deep dive into why we've made some of the changes that we have made. And then at the end, we're going to have about 10 minutes for questions and answers as well. So if you want to hold your questions till the end, we'll make sure that we have some time to get to all of those. Right, pass it over to you, Katie.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Welcome, everybody. How's day 2? You're a small crowd, but you're going to be the best crowd, right? Well, we are so excited to be here today, talking about our investments and our commitment as a company to Office 365 and the web. And hopefully that's starting to come through to you in some of the keynotes and the other sessions that you've been listening to so far. So Carmen and I and Tom are part of a team of PMs, designers, engineers, and researchers who are dedicated to making the whole of Office 365 as great as possible. We want to do this through simple, personalized, relevant experiences. And one of the things that we're most passionate about is helping your users utilize the capabilities they already have in their subscriptions. We believe that it's when the users understand how to utilize these tools and apply their own creativity, their own ingenuity on top of that, that's where they're going to do their best work, alone, with others, and that's where your businesses are going to get the most value from the platform. Now, I can identify with this personally as a day in, day out user of Office 365 in the web, whether it's personally coordinating my son's baseball schedule and professionally creating presentations like this, working with my engineers on teams. All right, so when we get started, let's get into some of the experiences that we provide today to help users understand and navigate their Office 365 subscriptions. So first, we have the Office 365 App Launcher. And this is the component that sits on the top of every integrated Office 365 web app in the suite. And I did hear that there's a waffle breakfast at some point at Ignite, but we don't call it the waffle officially. So in Office 365 in the web, we have over 50 integrated applications. This is everything from point solutions like Staff Hub, from new capabilities that are coming online like Visio Online, Sway, and our core capabilities, of course, Outlook, SharePoint, OneDrive. And the approach that we've taken is that we want users to be able to take these capabilities with them wherever they go in Office 365 so that they're always available and ready in context where they need them. And in a lot of ways, today this really is the best representation that a user has of what is my Office 365. Next, we have Office.com. So over 30 million users, commercial and education a month, log in and go to Office.com to get started with Office 365. Namely, they're accessing their web apps quickly, They're clicking on their most recent documents. Now, this is an easy to remember URL that you can share with your users, and something that's really resonating is this is where I go to get started. So let's think about some of the challenges that we've seen and heard. So our team, as we are the shepherds of the whole of the experience, we are entrenched in the data across the ecosystem, as well as understanding our user feedback. And some of the things we hear is, gosh, why do you make it so hard for me to just get to the things that I use every single day? I'm overwhelmed by all of these choices. And additionally, of course, our experiences are based on what you, the admins, have assigned to the user. But beyond that, they aren't really tailored to who that user is, who they're working with most often, and what types of capabilities are most relevant to them. And last but not least, a set of tiles doesn't help a user understand the capabilities that they have at their fingertips. These surfaces today are not sufficient to help our users explore and learn how they can maximize all of these capabilities. We hear in our feedback all the time, what's the difference between Power Apps and Forms? Wait, when do I use what? Can you just help me understand this? And so there's actually a lot of you and our MVPs who have done some resources to help users better understand this. So maybe some of you in this room have even produced collateral for your users to help explain to them what to use, what, when. Now, if you go to Bing, enter an easy search, what to use what in, it's going to complete with Office 365. And while these resources are amazing and we love the attention and the people monitoring these new capabilities, we want to do better in the product to help with this as well. So before we get into the demos, I want to talk about some of the principles that we're using when thinking about the user experiences, the design, and the engineering that we're bringing to Office 365. First, simplification. You're going to see this interwoven from everything we do, from the user experience itself, from the scenarios that we're optimizing around, and from the design. We're pretty excited about the design of these surfaces as well. We're actually pushing forward in Office 365 in the web with a new Microsoft Fluent design language. Now, you're going to see this in some of the interactions, the hover states, and the way that these experiences are presented. Now, this is a journey. You'll begin to see this design language evolve over time across all of the Microsoft platforms, but we're excited to be pushing forward with it in Office 365 in the web first. Next, personalization. We're doing work to tune our experiences based on what we know about the user. So for example, admins, teachers, students, small businesses, Dynamics 365 users. We can identify based on SKU the types of users that we have and do some basic tailoring to just help them get to what they need faster. And even at the individual level, you'll see we're super excited about some of the experiences, specifically on Office.com, that are not just looking at your subscription, but they're looking at who you are, who you're working with, and what you're working on. And last but not least, maybe some of you, even in the ODSP or the OneDrive and SharePoint keynote this morning, have heard about our commitment across Microsoft to enterprise-level search, backed by the Microsoft Graph. We are super proud to show those same enterprise search capabilities backed by intelligence, relevance, right on Office.com. Microsoft is really in the best position to do this based on our breadth of sources and our depth of data. And so again, we're working to bring these benefits, the signals from the graph, right to where our users are. All right, so real quick before we get to the demo, here's what we're gonna cover. We're gonna look at how signing in to Office.com is the best place to get started with the apps, documents, sites, all the content that your users, yourself, are working with and care about. How you can search and discover across Office.com in a broad, rich way. How opening and switching between your web apps is getting easier and simplified. And last, how your users can learn and explore about all of these capabilities they have available to make the most of them to do their best work. All right, so we'll go through, as Tom said, Office.com, the new app launcher. Maybe some of you have seen some of our announcements we've made recently. There's been glimpses of it in some of the other sessions, but we're going to deep dive into these services as well as the new gallery. So let's get started with the demo. Now, while we look at the new Office.com, I want to call out a few things. So first, of course, at the top of the page, we want to give proper and priority access to a user's web applications. Now, this section has been tailored and personalized to the user and condensed. I'm going to cover that when we get to the app launcher, though. So let's move on to documents. We've introduced and are excited to announce a new section called Recommended. Now, what this section is doing is it's smartly looking at all the document activity related to me and bubbling it up to me in a way that I can quickly take action. So for example, I'm seeing that someone edited my file because I created it. I might see a comment. So a real relevant scenario that actually happened to me last week. We're starting to use this in Microsoft. I went to Office.com and I saw Jeff Teeper was editing my PowerPoint. Now he's my boss's boss's boss. So I really cared about what he was doing in my document. Additionally, another scenario is people are often sending me documents for review. I'm asking questions, I'm putting in comments. But how often do you forget to go back and see, did someone respond? Did someone have a question for my question? Office.com in this recommended section is just bubbling that up to me. That's most likely to be something I want to take action on because it's specifically related to me and my content. Next, we have the recent section. So today on Office.com, you can see your most recent documents. But there's so much richness that we've added here and that we'll show you today. So first, on the right, you see a new activities section. Now what this is doing is showing you all the activity that's happened in these documents, regardless of it's related directly to you or not. Things from app mentions, comments, edits. At a glance, I can quickly see the sharing status of these documents, whether it's shared just with me or a group of people. And next, let's move over to the left and look at the attributes on the documents themselves. So you'll notice up at the top a new indicator. What this is telling me is this is actually the most new document in this set. So think of scenarios where you're working with different versions or documents with similar names. This is really handy for, at a glance, being able to show you which one is most recent. Additionally, if you look on the right, you'll see a small upward arrow. What this is doing is taking intelligence from the graph and helping me understand which documents are trending. So in other words, which documents have the most people editing, viewing, working with them around me. So let's take a look at some of the actions that are available right from Office.com. First is share. So in some other sessions, you've probably seen this. We're super proud in Office of the work that we're doing on fundamental capabilities like share to make the experience consistent, reliable, and repeatable wherever the user is. So share across Microsoft 365 is going to be a consistent and familiar experience for the user, whether they're in the client, whether they're in OneDrive, whether they're on Office.com. Additionally, there's a number of other actions that I can do. I can pin a document for that thing that I just want to keep going back to. And additionally, I can download it or remove from list. Remove from list is actually an interesting one. I'm not sure what everyone's looking at work, but this is a specific customer ask to say, hey, just because I look at a document, I might not want it in this list anymore. So here in one click on Office.com, I can easily remove it. All right, so let's look at the sections across the top that are essentially filters on these documents for you to easily parse what's going on. First, we have pinned. And again, as you can see here, this is just a place to keep that reference that you are always searching for or always go back to, just handy, right here available to you. Next is shared with me. So this pivot is looking specifically at the view of those documents that have been explicitly shared with me, whether it's just me or a group of people in which I'm included. And last, but certainly not least, is a new view called Discover. What this view is doing is bubbling up signal from the graph about documents that may be of interest to me. Now, I may have seen these, I may have not. But based on intelligence of who I work with, what type of projects I'm working on, which documents I'm using, these are smartly being surfaced to me as a point of discovery and exploration. Now, in all these views, there's the ability to look at them in a traditional list view, as well as a picture view that allows you to quickly preview the documents. Now, this is the same preview technology that you're going to see in OneDrive and SharePoint to allow me to visually see the document and more quickly parse what it's about. And we're surfacing it right here on Office.com to help our users get started before they deep dive into all their applications. So that's the recent document section. Now, at the bottom of the page, think of this as your places. We all know that the amount of content we deal with is immense. I don't know about you, but I definitely don't remember where things are stored. Is it that SharePoint site? Is it OneDrive? Here in Office.com, what we're providing you is easy access points to the content you care about, regardless of storage location. So we call out the SharePoint sites that you're frequenting, those that you've chosen to follow, as well as showing you your recent OneDrive folders. All straight from here, so it's all just available for you to get started. And last but not least, let's go to the top of the page and look at search. So like I said, this investment across Microsoft is super exciting, helping users just find and explore not just all of the files out there, but explore and get results that are relevant to who they are. So let's look at a couple examples. First, say I attended a team meeting. I saw a presentation. I would like to look at it. I don't have an email. Frankly, I don't even know who created it. By simply clicking on Team Meeting, I see a set of results, file results. Now that in and of itself, okay. But these are relevant to me. So the top result is from Torbjorn. I happen to work with him a lot. This happens to be the most recent file. And here, one of my favorite aspects is right here from my search results page, I get these beautiful card views where without navigating and opening these files, I can quickly scan through the entire PowerPoint file. And so that helps me parse through. There's 7 documents here that are team meetings to make sure that I'm getting the content that I'm after. All right, let's take another scenario. So say I heard a presentation or I came in contact with someone. His name's Andy Hohen. He happens to be a GPM in OneDrive. But I'm interested in learning more about Andy, who he reports to and what he's working on. So right here, I can search for Andy. And in my results, I'm going to see his profile information. I'm going to see his picture. I'm going to see who he is, where he works, as well as more information just about him as a person, his career, how long he's been at our company, Contoso, in this place. And additionally, I can see the files that he's been working on. So let's take one more scenario that's a real practical scenario that we haven't been able to realize up until this point very well. Let's say I'm working on a project and I need someone who's well-versed in market research. We don't have a market researcher assigned to our team. I know they exist. So I can simply type in marketing, And here I'm going to get a number of search results relative to people with this area of expertise, either by organization or by something they've explicitly stated. And additionally, hopefully you've seen this in some of the other sessions. That same profile card or people card is available right here too. Now, the reason we believe in this so much is that teamwork starts with the people. And we're really just infusing people and the quick contextual access to the information about them from their files, their office, to calling them, right where the users are. So you're never searching for that anymore. It's just always right there. All right. So now that we've covered Office.com, let's talk about some of the things that we're doing with the new Office 365 app launcher. So here you can see the new Office 365 app launcher and its design. So first I want to call out maybe some of the MVPs that we've talked to are in this room, but after very loud MVP feedback, we went from black and white icons to colors. So hopefully folks are happy with that change. But really the most important thing here is how the app selections are tailored and relevant to who I am. So there's a few tiers that we've gone through in order to organize what your users see. So first and foremost, of course, they're not going to see anything they aren't licensed for. That's square one. But beyond that, they're going to first see the core capabilities that are most used across all of Office 365, the heart of the service. Mail, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, our new hub for collaboration. On top of that, they're going to see some default selections based on who they are. So here you can see my account. I'm an admin in this tenant, like many of you. The admin portal is pinned by default for me based on who I am. And last, anything that I use outside of these smart defaults on a regular basis will be pinned for me as well. So I happen to use Power BI at least a couple of times a week, and so it's pinned for me here. Now this is a starting point of smart defaults relevant to me. After that, it's up to me. My admin can assign new licenses, remove licenses, or I can unpin non-default apps here, like Power BI. Now let's look at the all view. So I can still see all of the applications in my Office 365 subscription. I can still search from the top, save for Planner. I can look at all of these different applications and do a number of things off of them. I can pin them, I can learn more about them, or of course I can open them. Now another area that I want to call out is a new section that we've prioritized at the top of the all view, and this is called admin selected apps. Now what we've done here is taken a more prominent discovery surface for the admin custom tiles that you want to expose to your tenant. So whether it's a SharePoint site, line of business app, or other website, we're putting these in a more prominent location for your users to discover and choose to pin. So for here, my Contoso internet portal as well as HR Web is here. And so I can easily pin Contoso or HR Web, and it will go to my main view of the launcher just like that. Now another thing that we're excited about for Office 365, and particularly given our emphasis on documents, working with them in collaboration, is the introduction of a new way of navigating. And this is essentially pulling up my most recent documents so they're available for me wherever I am. So rather than opening Word Online and navigating and finding that document, it's just right here. I can easily switch applications via this document versus going to the app in another way. And now about that feature for remove documents from my MRU. I saw in the tech communities this week some folks were asking, well, gosh, I'm an admin. I'm always showing my own account of the app launcher and teaching users or showing collateral. What if I have a sensitive document or a document that I don't want appearing here? Well, the feature to remove a document from your MRU on office.com flows right to here. The service is integrated. So if I don't want that team meeting there, go to office.com, remove it, and it's gone. All right, so let's go back to office.com. At the top right of the new app launcher, I can easily click Office 365, and I'm back. All right, so the last thing that I mentioned was something, again, that we're really passionate about. It's not about selling new capabilities, but helping you and your users understand what you already have so they can explore and discover. And this is what we're introducing in calling the Office 365 Gallery. So you can get here from the Explore Your Apps link directly on office.com. Also, as a cross-reference point, if you notice in the app launcher, there's a Learn More link. Those will deep link into more rich resources directly in the gallery as well. Today, we provide a couple sentences of introduction from the app launcher. Most people don't click on it. But now, whether directly in the gallery or individually from an app in the app launcher, we're creating and curating more rich resources for the user to understand these capabilities. So here you can see, because I use PowerPoint with this user that I'm logged in as, I'm getting a recommendation to use Sway. Additionally, based on who I am, again, I'm an admin in this company, I'm getting some other curated selections. And at the bottom of the page, I can still see everything in my subscription. And we're taking a quick minute to provide a couple sentences to help answer those questions that I referred to at the beginning. What's the difference between Power Apps and Power BI? And these can at least give a user some context and some frame of reference with a couple of sentences that's more discoverable and consumable to them. And additionally, these will all have Learn More links. We're growing this and bringing in rich content from places like the new Office 365 Training Center that maybe some of you are hearing about, as well as quick access to install desktop and mobile versions that may be available. Installing the client apps is actually a question that we hear all the time in our feedback on office.com and across the suite. And so we want to make those install points available from one place. No more do I go to one location to get Word, the iPhone app, and another location to get my Word client. I go to Word, and all the versions that I'm entitled to are there for me to install. All right, so that's the Office 365 gallery in a nutshell. The other cool thing about this, and these are capabilities that will work to build more richly and smartly over time, is these selections will change based on who you're working with and what you're using. So this isn't going to be a static location. All right, so in summary, we've shown you these 3 different surfaces that will be coming to your tenants soon. First, how signing in and getting to office.com is not only an easy to remember URL, but it's the fastest and easiest place for your users to get started with documents and all the content that the people they're working with and themselves care about most. How opening and switching between apps is more relevant and simpler than before. And last, the gallery, to help our users take advantage of what they already have. So that was a first look. What's the call to action? So from an Office 365 App Launcher perspective, if you have your eye on the Admin Center, you've probably seen some of our messages. We have a number of resources we've created to help you and your organizations prepare for this change. We have an Admin FAQ, an Admin Overview video. We now have a Microsoft Mechanics video that just launched on Friday. That's a great thing for you to share with your users in terms of how this new experience works. So if you aren't part of the first release ring, please join now and watch the Message Center as more details will roll out as we begin to expose this first to our first release tenants and then beyond. From an Office.com perspective, start giving it a try to your users. Tell them, log in. You don't know where to go? It's fine. This is where you start, and everything you need is going to be there, and it's a grounding place for you to work across your web suite. And the changes that I've shown will begin to roll out to your tenants here in the next couple of months. And again, the app gallery will evolve over time as we get user feedback, first and foremost, track the usage, and try and make it as useful and relevant as possible to the users in Office 365. And last but not least, our team has created an alias, o2feedback@microsoft.com. Literally email it. Our team would love to hear from you. This hits our entire PM team and the people who are tirelessly speaking to our customers and looking at the usage data across these experiences. And of course, within the product, clicking the feedback button in the lower right of office.com will hit us too. We look at it every single week. Every single PM on our team takes rotation. We really, truly want to stay close to the customers and how they're consuming these experiences. So with that, that's the end of our demo showing you these surfaces. So I'll go ahead and bring Tom and Carmen back up here and we can take a few questions.
Thanks, Katie and Carmen. I think what's really important about what Katie and Carmen both showed us today is that you could see that we've responded pretty quickly and pretty immediately to a lot of the feedback that we've got, including the colors and the tiles and things. So the feedback is super important for us. If anyone has any questions or feedback now, we're always open to taking it, and definitely really appreciate it as well.
We'll also be down on the expo floor. You can look at our experiences both in the Office 365 admin area as well as in the Office Online area. Thank you so much. Enjoy your lunches.
Thanks, guys.